Welcome to News Edge, your sharpest source for daily headlines and deep dives. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay ahead of the curve. There's a new twist in the ongoing saga of international trade drama, one that's catching headlines and stirring up emotions on both sides of the border. This time, the humble potato has taken center stage, transforming from a simple staple food into the unlikely star of a high-stakes political showdown. Former President Donald Trump is fuming, his anger ignited after Canada abruptly halted some potato shipments to the United States. Trump, never one to shy away from a fight, has made his displeasure clear, calling the move unfair and threatening retaliatory measures. The tension is palpable, with Trump's fiery rhetoric echoing across newsrooms and social media feeds. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Mark Carney, Canada's influential trade envoy, is busy signing a major trade pact in Asia. As Carney shakes hands and pens agreements that could shape the future of global commerce, the potato crisis back home simmers, threatening to overshadow even the most significant international deals. Caught in the crossfire are the hard-working potato farmers of Prince Edward Island. For generations, these families have tilled the red soil, growing some of the world's finest potatoes. Now, their livelihoods hang in the balance, as political decisions made in distant capitals threaten to undo years, sometimes decades of dedication and hard work. What began as a routine trade spat has exploded into a full-blown crisis for one of Canada's most iconic agricultural regions. The uncertainty is spreading like blight through the fields, leaving farmers anxious about their future and the fate of their crops. Imagine being a PEI farmer, years of sweat, hope, and investment, and suddenly politics threatens your entire business. The stress is overwhelming as farmers pore over paperwork, make frantic phone calls, and wonder if their hard work will go to waste. The U.S. market, once a reliable and lucrative partner, is now uncertain territory. Trucks loaded with potatoes wait at the border, unsure if they'll be allowed through. Each day brings new rumors, new regulations, and new fears. This isn't just about potatoes, it's about the survival of families and entire communities. For many, the potato harvest is more than a job. It's a way of life, a tradition passed down through generations. Now, that way of life is under threat. Political maneuvering has turned a simple crop into a symbol of economic conflict. In Parliament and on television, leaders argue and point fingers, while the real consequences are felt far from the spotlight, in the fields and homes of PEI. While leaders ink billion-dollar deals and debate policy, PEI farmers are left wondering if they'll even sell this year's harvest. Unsold potatoes pile up in barns, and the fear of financial ruin grows with each passing day. The fate of these farmers now depends on decisions made far from their fields, in government offices and international summits. Their voices are often drowned out by the noise of politics, but their struggle is all too real. It's a stark reminder, global politics can upend local lives in an instant. In small towns across PEI, families gather to watch the news, hoping for a breakthrough, fearing the worst. For PEI, this is more than a trade dispute. It's a fight for their future, their identity, and their way of life. As the sun sets over the potato fields, the determination of these farmers shines through. No matter what happens in the halls of power, the spirit of PEI endures, ready to face whatever comes next. The biggest threat looming over Prince Edward Island's potato industry right now isn't a blight or a bad harvest. It's something far more unpredictable, a political storm brewing just across the border. The proposed 25% U.S. tariff on PEI potatoes has sent shockwaves through the island's farming community. For decades, these potatoes have been a staple on American dinner tables, but now, their future is uncertain. This isn't just another tax or a minor inconvenience. For the families who have worked these fields for generations, it's a potential knockout punch, one that could cripple an industry that sustains thousands of islanders, from farmers to truck drivers to local businesses that depend on potato exports. The PEI Potato Board is sounding the alarm, warning that this is not a small bump in the road. They call it an existential crisis, a threat that could change the face of the island's economy forever. If the tariff goes through, PEI potatoes could become too expensive for their most important customers, American buyers. The price hike would make it nearly impossible to compete, pushing PEI potatoes off U.S. shelves and out of American homes. Generations of cross-border trade built on trust and mutual benefit could unravel overnight. Farmers who have always counted on the U.S. market might suddenly find themselves with nowhere to sell their crops, their hard work left to rot. The stress is real and growing. Families are sitting around kitchen tables, staring at bills and wondering how they'll make ends meet. Their livelihoods, built over decades, now hang in the balance because of a political decision made far from their fields. Protectionist policies may be designed to help American farmers, but they threaten to devastate their Canadian partners. The close ties between communities on both sides of the border are at risk of being torn apart. Across PEI, the entire community is on edge. Town hall meetings are filled with anxious conversations, and farmers gather in fields to share their worries. Everyone is hoping that this threat remains just that, a threat and not a reality. For decades, a stable trade system has allowed PEI potatoes to reach markets far and wide. Now that system is suddenly at risk, and the future feels more uncertain than ever. Farmers are being forced to plan for the worst. They're meeting with neighbors, weighing their options, and wondering if they'll have a market for their crops at all next season. Even the uncertainty itself is taking a heavy toll. Young farmers look out over their fields, unsure if they'll be able to carry on the family tradition. The future of PEI's potato industry, and the island's way of life, hangs in the balance, waiting for a decision that could change everything. A 25% tariff would devastate PEI's family-run potato farms. These farms, passed down for generations, rely on U.S. sales to survive. Such a tariff would make their potatoes uncompetitive, slashing sales and income overnight. The ripple effect would hit not just farms but local businesses and jobs across the island. Finding new markets for such a huge crop is nearly impossible. Farmers could be left with mountains of unsold potatoes and mounting losses. The entire provincial economy is tied to this industry. When farmers suffer, everyone feels it. The stakes couldn't be higher. For many, it's survival or collapse. The U.S. isn't just a customer for PEI potatoes, it's the customer. For decades, the American market has been the lifeblood of Prince Edward Island's potato industry, shaping the way farmers grow, harvest, and even dream about the future. Every year, countless truckloads of PEI potatoes cross the border, destined for grocery stores and dinner tables across the United States. Nearly half of PEI's entire potato harvest heads south, making the American market not just important, but truly irreplaceable. No other country comes close to matching the demand, the scale, or the reliability that the U.S. provides. For many PEI farmers, the American market isn't just a business opportunity, it's the difference between a good year and a devastating one. This trade relationship has been the backbone of PEI's economy for generations. Families have built their livelihoods on the steady flow of potatoes southward, passing down knowledge and land through the years. The connection between PEI and the U.S. is woven into the very fabric of the island's rural communities. But now, tariffs threaten to shatter decades of trust and cooperation. The uncertainty is palpable. Farmers worry about contracts, about next season, about whether their hard work will even make it to market. The stakes have never been higher. No other market can absorb the sheer volume the U.S. does. Europe, Asia, and other parts of Canada simply don't have the appetite or infrastructure to take on what the Americans buy each year. The logistics, the relationships, the history, it all points south. Losing access would be catastrophic. There's no plan B. For many, the thought of losing the U.S. market is unthinkable. It would mean empty fields, shuttered warehouses, and families forced to abandon a way of life they've known for generations. The PEI Potato Board is clear. This trade is essential for survival. They're fighting not just for profits, but for the future of the entire island's agricultural community. Every meeting, every press conference, is a plea to keep the border open and the potatoes moving. The entire industry's future hangs on keeping this vital connection open. Farmers, truckers, packers, and their families all depend on the stability and opportunity that the U.S. market brings. It's a delicate balance, and one that can't be easily replaced. The fight against tariffs is about more than one crop. It's about preserving a way of life. It's about protecting rural communities, family farms, and the traditions that have defined PEI for over a century. The stakes are personal, and the outcome will shape the island's future for years to come. Without the U.S. market, PEI's potato industry may never recover. The loss would echo through every corner of the island, leaving behind empty fields, lost jobs, and a community forever changed. This trade fight isn't just Canada's problem. American consumers will feel it too. A 25% tariff means higher prices for potatoes, fries, and chips in the U.S. Experts warn food costs will rise, and choices will shrink. The North American food chain is deeply connected. Disruptions hurt everyone. PEI supplies millions of Americans with affordable, quality potatoes. Tariffs would undo years of stable, predictable food prices. It's a lose-lose. Canadian farmers suffer and American families pay more. Protectionist policies often backfire, hitting ordinary people hardest. In a trade war, there are no winners, just higher costs for all. The potato dispute is a clear example. Everyone pays the price. The timing couldn't be worse. PEI's potato industry is still reeling from a recent crisis. In 2021, a potato wart outbreak shut down U.S. trade, leaving farmers with unsellable crops and huge losses. The industry was just starting to recover when the tariff threat hit. Farmers are still dealing with the fallout from the last disruption. Now, another external shock threatens to undo all progress. It's like trying to run a marathon right after an illness. Brutal and exhausting. The community's resilience is being tested yet again. For PEI farmers, it's a harsh reminder. Challenges can come from anywhere. The potato trade is a two-way street. Canada and the US are deeply intertwined. Tariffs wouldn't just hurt Canadian farmers, they'd disrupt American businesses too. US food processors rely on PEI potatoes for products like fries and chips. Higher costs for ingredients mean higher prices for American consumers. The trade relationship is a partnership. Breaking it hurts both sides. Protectionism could backfire, damaging jobs and raising costs in the US. The potato trade shows how cooperation benefits everyone. Tariffs threaten to unravel a system built on decades of trust and efficiency. PEI's potato leaders aren't waiting for disaster, they're fighting back. The Potato Board is lobbying hard, coordinating with government and industry partners. Premier Dennis King and Prime Minister Trudeau are pushing for a national strategy. High-level talks aim to prevent a damaging trade war and protect Canadian farmers. The message to the US: this partnership is too valuable to risk. Industry and government are united, emphasizing cooperation over conflict. The goal: keep potatoes and prosperity flowing across the border. For PEI farmers, this united front is a rare source of hope. While leaders negotiate, Canadians can help by buying PEI potatoes. Choosing local supports farm families facing uncertainty. Look for PEI-branded bags in stores and make a difference with your grocery cart. Supporting the potato industry means investing in Canadian agriculture and food security. Every purchase helps keep money in local communities and sustains family farms. It's a simple act with a big impact, showing solidarity when it's needed most. By buying PEI potatoes, you're backing a vital Canadian industry. Let's stand by our farmers and show them they're not alone. Together we can help secure the future of PEI's potato industry.